Ainz stood atop a mountain of corpses, a conqueror surveying his spoils. But something was missing. Usually after a battle, there would be shouts and cheers. But this time the battlefield had fallen silent. Not because the war was over, though, but because there was no one left to scream. All around him, the cities lay in ruins, their streets now turned into graveyards. But the dead still spoke, not with words, but with magic. Using an ancient spell, Echo of Despair, Ainz reanimated the memories of the fallen. The last words they spoke, the last images they saw, the last emotions they felt. He wove them together into a tapestry of death and despair, then unfurled it across the land. It was a cacophony of agony, a chorus of the damned. You could hear the terrified screams of mothers clutching their children close, the last desperate prayers of knights, the blasphemous laughter of generals as they met their end, and the regrets and resentments of countless others. Their voices rose and fell, weaving a haunting melody of loss and suffering. Ainz listened, a faint smile touching his lips. "Let them hear what arrogance costs," he murmured. These were not mindless undead animated by dark magic. No, these were phantoms of regret, each one replaying the last moments of their lives, broadcasting their failure across magical channels. Some stumbled through the streets, forever seeking an audience that would never listen. Others floated aimlessly, trapped in an endless loop of their final moments. And some screamed into the void, their voices echoing across the desolate landscape long after they had died. But Ainz wasn't content with just that. He reached out, his skeletal fingers tracing the outline of a skull that lay at his feet. With a touch, he wove their pain into something more, binding their echoes together with dark magic. Then he turned his gaze towards Nazarick, where Demiurge and Pandora's actor awaited. These two, along with several other guardians, had been watching the battle unfold, their expressions unreadable behind their masks. "We have received your message, my liege," Demiurge said, his voice echoing with amusement. With a flick of Ainz's wrist, the memory fragments coalesced, forming a grotesque museum of defeat. Every nation that had fallen to Nazarick was represented, their leaders, their armies, their people, all trapped in the final moments of their lives. There were the merchants of Averia, frozen in the act of bartering for their lives. The nobles of Remedios caught in the throes of panic as their city burned around them. And the soldiers of the Holy Kingdom, their faces twisted in a silent scream as they fell in battle. And yet there was method in this madness. Each phantom was carefully preserved, its emotions perfectly rendered, its surroundings meticulously recreated. Some stumbled through ruined streets, forever seeking an audience that would never listen. Others floated aimlessly, trapped in an endless loop of their final moments. And some screamed into the void, their voices echoing across the desolate landscape long after they had died. But Ainz wasn't content with just that. He reached out, his skeletal fingers tracing the outline of a skull that lay at his feet. With a touch, he wove their pain into something more, binding their echoes together with dark magic. Then he turned his gaze towards Nazarick, where Demiurge and Pandora's actor awaited. These two, along with several other guardians, have been watching the battle unfold, their expressions unreadable behind their masks. "We have received your message, my liege," Demiurge said, his voice echoing with amusement. "Excellent," Ainz replied, his skeletal face betraying no emotion. "Then compile them into a war archive, something to teach, terrify, and most importantly, convince. Make sure every nation that survives this war has access to it. Their children will thank us for this." Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The Supreme Beings continued their campaign, conquering nation after nation. As they did, more and more souls were added to the war archive, each one a testament to the might of Nazarick. Some kings begged for peace, sending envoys bearing precious metals and jewels. Others offered up their daughters, hoping to secure a favorable marriage alliance. Still, others offered prisoners, hoping to trade them for their freedom. Ainz didn't bother responding to any of them. Instead, he had their messengers reanimated and sent back to them, rotting phantoms whispering, "Too late, your chance has passed." Soon, the world would learn the true cost of challenging the Sorcerer King. Not in gold or jewels, or even human lives, but in memories. For Ainz had found a way to weaponize regret, turning the last moments of his enemies against them, ensuring that their final thoughts would be a constant reminder of their failure.